He returned home that day as if it were just another ordinary day, but nothing was ordinary anymore for Sung Jin-Woo. His sister appeared at the door, backpack on her back, asking if he had been working out because he seemed to have changed, as if he had just gotten out of bed. And he really had, after already having done all his daily exercises and still having to run the 10 kilometers of the mission. While she was still talking, Jin-Woo took the opportunity to level up some points that were left over. And only then did he receive a call that cut the light-hearted mood in a second. A guy collecting the rent that was already a whole week overdue. He explained in a calm, almost controlled voice that he had been hospitalized and promised that he would pay as soon as possible. For a moment, he thought about entering the rank B portals, those that pay well. That could get him out of that financial situation. But reality hit hard. Who would accept a rank E hunter in there? Nobody. And he couldn't simply reassess his power either, because that would draw too much attention, and attention was something he didn't want right now. Without many options, he headed to a D-rank dungeon just to enjoy and complete the 10-kilometer run of the mission. He entered, took a deep breath, and started running, feeling each step bring back memories of past battles, each drop of sweat marking the path he had already traveled to get there. In the middle of the way, he crossed paths with a guy named Dongsuk and his group. The guys started teasing him from the first second, calling him the weakest hunter in the world. They laughed, provoked, and made fun of the way he moved, as if it were a natural part of their routine. But the leader didn't care about these provocations. He only needed him because, without 8 hunters, it wasn't possible to enter the dungeon. Jin-Woo might not be useful for anything other than carrying baggage, but he was necessary. Even knowing he wouldn't receive anything the monsters dropped, he accepted, because receiving 2001 now was better than nothing. After signing the contract, another D-rank hunter named Yo Jin-Ho appeared, also just there, to fill the quota. But curiously, the kid was wearing armor more expensive than everyone's. Kidneys. That caught their attention, but nobody asked where he got it. What mattered was getting in. They came face to face with a portal larger than usual. Dark, dense, frightening. They entered and everything was a heavy silence, as if the cave itself was waiting for something. One of the guys already used magic to light the way, but even so, they didn't find any monsters. That's when Jin-Woo shouted there were insect-type monsters coming from above. The whole group prepared themselves, and of course, nobody took him seriously. But as soon as the insects attacked, the leader lured everyone into a fight. It was a quick fight. The guys had good teamwork and dealt with the insects in a few minutes. When everything seemed to be over, one of the guys, Barbo, didn't even thank Jin-Woo for warning them about the giant ants. But they soon noticed something strange. Some of the ants on the ground hadn't been hurt by either sword or magic. That meant absolutely one thing. There was still a stronger monster in that cave. And Jin-Woo himself warned one of the group members, the little heir, to be careful. Moving on, they found a bunch of shiny crystals that would make the guys rich. There were so many that dividing them into 7, it would give more than 100 million to each of them. But Jin-Woo went to talk to the leader because, in his contract, it was clear that he just couldn't take the loot from the monsters, and crystals aren't dropped items. So yes, he was entitled to his share, and the correct thing to do was to divide it into 8. Of course, the others complained, but in the end they agreed. The plan was to extract all the crystals before facing the dungeon boss, who luckily was still sleeping, but one of the idiots forgot his pickaxe in the car, so they asked the two to stay there while they went to get it. Nothing will happen, they said. After all, the boss was sleeping, and of course, Jin-Woo found all of that very suspicious. It was no coincidence. When the guys left, Dongsuk ordered Jin-Woo and Jin-Ho to be trapped inside and blew up the entrance, leaving the two with no way out. They didn't even need cameras in a dungeon. No one would know if the two died or not. It was easy to say they died in battle and continue mining the crystals. Jin-Ho had already started lamenting, thinking that it was because the contract Jin-Woo discussed had angered the others. But Jin-Woo knew they were going to do it one way or another. Of course, all of this caused the boss to begin to awaken. The giant spider rose enormous, sinister, but still not as strong as those status demons he had already faced. Even so, it was too powerful for a normal group. And for him, it could be said that it was the greatest challenge so far. The other hunters began to wonder why they didn't just finish off the kids alone. The answer was as cruel as it was simple. They had to serve as bait for the boss to eat and go back to sleep so that they could then mine the crystals afterward without danger. But their minds were only thinking about profit. Jin-Ho's extremely expensive armor alone was worth millions. They were worried that the kids would survive and tell everything to the association. No one there could defeat the rank C boss alone, and much less too poorly prepared rank D bosses, especially since that spider was much stronger than a common rank D boss. Even so, Jin-Woo was not intimidated. The battle began, and the initial attack already showed that a normal rank hunter didn't move like that. The spider's carapace was tough, difficult to cut. The redhead of the group already thought Jin-Woo was a fake hunter, one of those psychopaths who lie about their rank just to kill monsters for fun, but he was far from it. He needed to find an opening to use the venom from his new dagger. He thought about it so much that he was almost caught by the spider's acid. When he realized he was about to be crushed, he used his displacement ability and managed to get close enough to apply his venom, but still couldn't pierce deeply. He attacked with everything he had, blow after blow, until fatigue began to set in. He was getting slow, almost being crushed when he remembered something essential. He hadn't yet collected the day's full recovery. In an instant, everything inside him was restored, renewed. Once more, he threw his dagger into the monster's eye, activated paralysis and drain, and then truly crushed the boss, defeating that sinister spider. The young heir was in shock, hardly believing that Jin-Woo had killed it all by himself. He offered water, helped with the mining, called him boss without even fully understanding what that meant. Meanwhile, the imbeciles who had fled returned, not understanding how Jin-Woo and Jin-Ho were still there, alive. The leader of the original group then threatened the poor guy, saying that if he cut off Jin-Woo's head, he could join them. That's how they treat those who only join to fill out the team. But Jin-Woo wasn't stupid and quickly allied himself with Jin-Ho. The others were furious, calling him the weakest of the group, asking if any of them had ever taken someone's life out of nowhere. In the meantime, an urgent mission arrived for him, to kill 6 humans who were considered a threat to the player. Before he could finish reading, a shadow ball hit him in the middle of the room and everyone started shouting that he was finished, that he was next to die. Jin-Woo slowly stood up and said, "Today is the day the hunters become the hunted." The jerk went there to mess with him, but he didn't even finish the sentence when his head fell to one side and his body to the other. The thugs didn't even notice when Jin-Woo drew his dagger. One by one, they joined together to try and finish him off, but each of his movements was too fast. Shadows, poison, paralysis. There wasn't even time to aim when he was already behind them. Jin-Ho was furious. He could hardly believe he had annihilated everyone in less than a minute. That's when one of the guys activated what he called Super Sajin and shot towards Jin-Woo, who just smiled and said, "You may be strong, but I'm not the protagonist of this story, am I?" And with that, his head was slammed into the ground. The traitor began to beg, promising to pay double, repeating that his brother would find out, and that he would be screwed. But before he could finish, his head was already coming off. His neck. When it was all over, the assistant was confused. 6 C-rank hunters had been killed, and only the 2 weaklings survived. She, a nerd with a sword obsession, assumed that Jin-Ho had finished off the boss with that expensive equipment while the Rainier hid, waiting for everything to pass. But nobody knew the truth. Jin-Woo received the rewards and a new skill called Killing Intent, which halved all of the enemy's attributes just with his presence. And everything seemed to be going well, because Dongsuk's older brother still hadn't discovered anything. At home, his sister was surprised to see her brother return without any injuries this time. She commented that his team must have been very strong, that it must have been easy to defeat the boss, and he only replied, "It was too easy." Little did she know, he wasn't just getting stronger, he was transforming into the very shadow of destiny. And if you enjoy anime as much as I do, then this channel is the place for you. We're always bringing videos with trivia, behind-the-scenes stories, crazy theories, analyses, rankings, and everything that involves this universe that we love. So, if you're not subscribed yet, take advantage now. Click the subscribe button, activate the bell so you don't miss any content, and come be a part of this ever-growing community. Here you'll never run out of something new to watch, discuss, and fall in love with all over. Again, with each character, each plot, and every detail of the anime. Thank you so much for watching this far. Truly, your presence here makes all the difference. Take care and see you in the next video.